Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie, Esther here, and today I want to talk to you about Hide or Die. It's a new upcoming asymmetrical horror royale game. You may remember 2 months ago I put out a couple of videos for this game when the alpha came out. There were about 2,000 keys given out for this alpha, and it was pretty raw. But the thing that impressed me the most about this team is that over the course of the 5 days or however long the alpha was open, they put out 10 updates. It was like, hey, this is no good, and they fixed it, and they fixed this, and they fixed that. And they were so fast at making corrections and putting out patches that was the thing that really stuck with me leaving that experience. And here we are 2 months later, and it's unbelievable how polished the game looks 2 months later compared to that alpha. And they have begun their Kickstarter campaign here now. And let's see, the backgrounds look great. I mean, the world always looked really great. This doesn't surprise me at all. But actually seeing the gameplay video, which I'll show you here towards the end of my little speech propping up the game, looks really good, and I'm super impressed, and I'm very eager to see this game come out. And the game is coming out. Like, it's coming out no matter what, whether this Kickstarter campaign is successful or not. But if you participate in this Kickstarter campaign, you can get beta keys, you can get full game keys, and you can even insert yourself into the game. There's 20 people who have already pledged $300 to have their facial models put into the game, which is crazy. But I do believe it's going to be funded. They're almost halfway funded here, 48 hours into the campaign. But I just want to promote it a little bit more and encourage all of you to check this out and consider funding it on some level, even if you just want to pay the, I don't know, is it 20 bucks to get a key? It looks worthwhile. It looks worth exploring. They're going to have animals in it, which is interesting. I think it's going to be pretty good. I'm really looking forward to it. I have backed it myself. I know Monto backed it. Monto played the alpha, and he put out videos for it too. And I'm even considering increasing the amount of my pledge because I think it looks pretty darn good. When you consider, like, a game such as, let's say, last year, who had their Kickstarter campaign in 2014, and that game has yet to see the light of day, and you look at what this game was in my videos in alpha 2 months ago, which, by the way, I believe I read that they made that game on a $2,000 budget. Like, what we played in that alpha was made in $2,000. I don't know that I could find somebody who could give me that level of game for $2,000, but $2,000, they released that alpha, and here we are looking at a full release of this game in October with the beta coming in August. That's pretty darn impressive. I don't know the background of the team on this, but like I said, when you compare that to last year, which their Kickstarter was funded in 2014, that game has yet to see the light of day other than, I think it was out at PAX and people got to play it, but I haven't gotten a whiff of it. And this is coming out this year. This is pretty impressive. To go from March to October, boom, game's out. It's pretty impressive. So let's just go through the Kickstarter here and see what's available. Okay, so for the Kickstarter campaign, as you can see here, it's almost 50% funded. This is I'm in Canada, so it translates everything into Canadian dollars for me. But they have $24,000 US out of the $54,500 goal, and this is 48 hours in. 16 players, large scale asymmetrical horror, shifting hunter, procedural levels, and deadly animals. All right, so overview. Retail price of the game is going to be 20 bucks. Hide or Die is an asymmetrical horror game where all the players start together in an underground bunker. After the doors slide open, the survivors flood the area looking for items, supplies, objectives, and if they choose to, the darkness. So the darkness, I believe, is what allows you to become the killer. One person can become the killer in the game. If a survivor gets too close to the darkness, it consumes them and turns them into a crazed and corrupted killer. The remaining survivors will need to set up traps, use supplies, traverse the dangerous environment, and activate fuse boxes around the level to reroute power from the bunker to the light towers. When fully powered, the tower illuminates the area and clears the darkness. The remaining survivors can choose to travel to the tower for temporary safety, store the collected items before moving on to the next section, or choose to escape. If they decide to bypass the tower, they risk their collected items but will earn a bonus rewards and experience points for how long they can survive. Ultimately, survivors will need to continue to travel through the world until they either become consumed and kill other survivors, or until they are killed themselves. Each time a section is cleared and each time a section is cleared, the darkness leaves the consumed because of their poor performance and awaits to be found again in the next section, starting the cycle over. There were 3 sections in the alpha that once you completed the necessary generator fuse boxes, you moved on to the next section. So that seems like they stuck to that format. The remaining survivors will die off until the inevitable scenario happens when the hunter is pitted against the final survivor. They will now have the opportunity to find an equalizer in the world, a weapon. The two will then enter a tense final showdown where only one will be left standing. You can kill the killer in this game! Why Kickstarter? Well, we have a sizable amount of the game done already. We are looking to raise funds to polish our characters and animations, build unique and fun-to-play hunters, and further expand the game from what it currently is. The game will release this fall, regardless of the outcome of this campaign. But the reason we are here is because we are asking for your help to push the game to the next level of quality and content. This is why we're offering exclusives for those who believe in what we are building, want to be part of creating it, and back us. So there's all the screenshots I showed you already. Core features. Procedural worlds. Our procedural level system forces players to create and execute their survival strategy on the fly. The location of supplies, items, objectives, and the darkness are random, ensuring that each time you try to survive or kill, it is different from the last. The most important part of the system is the procedural journey to survival through seamless, handcrafted environments. From suburb, neighborhood, cul-de-sacs to backwood farm swamps, you'll cross into unpredictable scenarios from all angles. This part of the procedural system allows matches to continue on as long as is required. There is no arbitrary end, only the most skilled will remain. These 2 distinct parts of our procedural system allow us to balance the importance of gameplay-oriented level design with the replayability and always evoking strategy of procedural content. For our take on this genre, we have a much larger player count that forces more thought-out movements by survivors. Running around out in the open will surely get you noticed and killed. The hunter is powerful. The procedural nature of the level design does a fantastic job of population control by rewarding those who are methodical in their actions and punishing those who are reckless. The world is unforgiving, so that's definitely going to be an important element, is the hiding part where you're going to die. The darkness. This is essentially the item in the world that corrupts and changes a survivor into a killer. If looked at for too long, this lets the players dynamically control who becomes the hunter. It can appear anywhere throughout the world, but can be found by following the darkness trails wisping across the level. These trails always point to the corrupting source. The player consumed by it will be the killer for the current section as they try to kill all the survivors. If they fail to prevent the survivors from rerouting the power to clear the darkness, then it leaves them, which returns them back into who they were before the corruption, a survivor. The darkness then moves into the next section looking for the next survivor to corrupt. Whoa! So different people can be the killer as you go from section to section. That's pretty cool. So this is an example of the darkness particles flying through the world. That looks pretty cool. Darkness particle effect. Follow direction of the particles to find the source of the darkness. Showdown. When the only players that remain are the hunter and one survivor, the game enters into a showdown mode. The level fills with dense dark fog, limiting player visibility and forcing closer encounters. A few weapons the survivor can use to defend themselves spawn around the level. These weapons aren't shown on any minimap or heads-up display, and players will need to search for the weapon to stand a chance against the much more powerful hunter. All ammo for the weapons is very limited. If you miss your shot, you'll surely die. By this point, the darkness has consumed most of the world, and your only way out of it is by destroying the person consumed by it. Quite possibly someone you had teamed up with to get to this point. Yeah, because they could be a fellow survivor in the first level or second level and then get consumed by darkness themselves, and then you have to face off against them. This is very interesting. Survivor gameplay. Loot. The items that the players can collect throughout the level are used to upgrade and unlock their clothes, survivor items, hunter weapons, skins, character traits, abilities, item effectiveness, and a lot more. It is integral to our progression and leveling up system. It certainly isn't required, as the main objectives result in the biggest rewards, but every little bit counts if you want to have the loadout and customization that you desire. Items like stun guns, camouflage clothes, pepper sprays, noisemaker, and traps are just some of the things to be found in the world. Items are important in helping you survive the darkness, wild animals, and the hunter. Equipment can be upgraded and skilled up just as your player can be, so it opens up a lot of possibilities for specialized play styles. I did see a person in the demo use a stun gun on the wild animal, so that was pretty cool. Progression. This is something essential to creating a sustainable player base that keeps people playing longer and more often. Players will collect supplies and gain experience points based on how well they play, whether that is as the hunter or as the survivor. Completing the final fuse box, for example, would be worth more experience points than the first one due to the difficulty. If players survive longer and or don't stash their supplies collected between sections, they will earn bonus multipliers for experience and rank up faster. Ranking, as well as utilizing your supplies found, can go towards new clothing items, various skins, item weapon upgrades, and tools you use during gameplay, such as traps. So this is one of the killers, the fisherman, and he's a range killer, and he comes with a harpoon gun, I believe. So that's pretty cool. Phone. We could text each other, you guys. We got the DMs. Each survivor has a phone that allows them to text chat between each other. It also has apps on it, such as flashlight and a map of the area. Admin messages show in the phone when players die, and the group count is updated, so you always know how close you are to being the last man standing. We're still expanding and exploring how we can make it more engaging and central to the gameplay. It's pretty cool. My wife always texts me when I'm hiding from killers, so I can relate to this. Let's see. Fuse boxes. Each section will have a varying number of fuse boxes located in the world. These have switches that are randomly generated and have to be turned on to enable that zone's power. The light bulb indicators show how many total fuse boxes are needed and remaining, as well as if the fuse box needs to be completed or if it already has been, denoted by the white light. The switches use the top two rows of your keyboard and the ordering of the switches, as well as their on-off state, which is randomized each time. This ensures that survivors have to balance their focus of turning on the switches as well as looking over their shoulder in case the hunter or nature has crept up on them. So this is very similar to what we saw in the alpha. And Tim, remember, you have to turn the switches to green, not red. Green, green, green. So that is, they kept that play mode in. That's identical to what we saw in the alpha with the keys. So that's fine. That element didn't bother me at all. Light towers. These large towers are the destination of rerouted power from the safety bunker via the fuse boxes throughout the level. When illuminated, they have enough light to clear the darkness from the area and to rid the darkness from the corrupted survivor. These towers also provide a brief safe haven for survivors where they can store their items and supplies found. This secures their loot before proceeding into the next part of the world. They can skip this safe haven and risk their loot for bonus multipliers to their experience points and progression. So if you think you might not live the entire game, you can bank your items to take to you in the end game to rank up your character. Or if you risk it, you can get a bonus multiplier if you don't bank it. That's pretty cool too. Hunter gameplay and classes. The base game will launch with 3 different hunters, each of which has different playstyles, equipment, and abilities. These will be tied into the progression system detailed above and have weapon ability stats and unlocks associated with them. Once a survivor gets too close to the darkness, they will be consumed and transformed into whichever hunter class they have pre-selected. The player is the only hunter... The player is only the hunter for the current section and is tasked with the killing of all the remaining survivors. If a hunter is unable to prevent the survivors from rerouting power to the light tower, they will have to rush to the light tower and rid themselves of the darkness so they can survive into the next section. So if you don't get to the light tower yourself as the killer, if you haven't prevented everybody, then you will die? Wow. The cycle continues until there only remains a single survivor and the hunter when they enter the showdown mode. So then we have these 3 killers so far, which are called Fisherman, Child, and Scientist. Child is pretty creepy. Fisherman, the hunter uses a modified fish finder that can scan the area for sounds using a parabolic mic. The best way to combat against this hunter type is to use hideables across the world to muffle your sounds and to be sure not to sprint for too long. He may not be able to see you running, but he'll definitely be able to hear you. His weapon of choice is a harpoon gun, which has the nice ability to kill from range, but if he misses you, you'll surely be able to escape. Child, the thing about children is that they are unpredictable. Worse than that is that their ability to climb into places where you'd never expect them. This special ability of this hunter type is to hide in the tall grass out of sight or up above you where you wouldn't expect them. Oh my god, there's going to be a creepy kid jump down from the ceiling? That's going to freak me out. He has the ability to ambush kill survivors and uses his toys as weapons. He is more in-your-face melee kind of killer because of speed and ability to leap around the environment. Oh man, that sounds freaky already. Scientist. This hunter character utilizes technology in their weapons. One of their abilities is to place down electrified barriers that he can use to trap survivors into an area for a limited time. This allows them to essentially close off sections of the level and dynamically change how the survivors have to move around the world to complete the fuse boxes. The weapon of choice is an electrified baseball bat that is much more of a pummel type of weapon that gives you the nice feeling of beating survivors down until they die. Okay, and here's the background of the designers, and then they have a breakdown of where they intend to spend the funds, and then we get into the different levels of backing. Some of these are already closed. They did have a nice early bird discount for anybody who backed it early, but I believe most of the early birds are gone. There are a couple left. And so these are the US dollar amounts here, right? So for $15, you're going to get a digital Steam key, but that's only for when it fully releases. You won't get the beta key when the beta starts in August. So this one here for $20, you will get a beta key as well as the full release. $40 is going to get you 2 of each key. $55 will get you an exclusive killer called Krampus, and you're going to get 4 beta keys and 4 full release keys. $75 for founder tier. $100 will get you another exclusive, and of course you get everything above. So like if you spend the $100 to get the exclusive Undertaker killer, you will also get the Krampus. $125 for graffiti artist to put your own image into the game world. Homeowner, you're going to get your one of the houses is going to be named with your mailbox, your name on the mailbox, I believe. And then this is the thing I was talking about with the $300 for the Ultimate Survivor. With 20 people, these are gone. 20 people bought this to get their face into the game. $300 a piece. And then this is the ultimate here. If you can help design a custom hunter for $2,500. So I'm going to back it. I have backed it. I think I might up my backing level to Krampus tier. I went for Hunter with the 2 exclusive, but for the extra $15, I think I'm going to go for Krampus tier, honestly. So, that's what I've got for you guys today. What do you think? Like, I'm going to end this right here and show you the video to advertise the project.
We are building a large-scale asymmetric horror game with 16 players that we believe is a unique way to approach the horror genre. To best demonstrate our idea, we're showing you 7 minutes of unedited gameplay. This shows off the game concept and type of atmosphere we're going for. Now just sit back and enjoy. That was a vertical slice of some of our gameplay. Now we're going to show you a condensed version of how the rest of the match plays out.
It's really impressive. Like, like I said, when you look, it's miles apart. You can just go back and watch either my video, Monto's video, T-Moth's video, and just see where we came from the middle of March to 2 months later. It's so impressive, and I think it's worth a look. And I'm putting my money behind it, and I would suggest all of you do the same. I would really like to see this get funded. They're halfway there, so, I mean, it's easy to say, well, you know, if they got that much in 2 days, then they're going to get it. But apparently Kickstarter projects earn most of their funds within the first 3 days. So hopefully we can push this thing across the finish line and give them that extra boost to add some polish to the game. And I'm really looking forward to August to see what this looks like. Anyway, that's my blah 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 for Hide or Die. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.